Good morning, everyone. So let's just take a quick tour around the garden to see how things are kind of looking. I haven't been out here all week, you all, just to pick some okra and some tomatoes for some of my neighbors, but that's it. The seedlings were looking great, and then something started to eat them. It's been over 95 degrees this pretty much the whole week, and yesterday was the first day we actually got rain. So plan B, reseed, because that's pretty much what I have to do at this point. Look at that. It never fails. Every year, my first round of seedlings always suffer. The Armenian cucumber is still trying to thrive here, but it is looking pretty bad, right? Cucumbers this time of year in Kentucky, zone 7A, it just starts to look rough, and there's no other way to say it, really. And so this doesn't bother me much at all. You can tell that there is still some green growth. It's still putting on cucumbers. We got a nice rain yesterday, the first time in a few weeks. Even though it's called for thunderstorms and things, we've only gotten the thunder. So it's really refreshing to be able to get some rain yesterday and see what type of growth that we have going on in the garden this morning. The hubby came out yesterday, and apparently the groundhog was in the greenhouse. There's nothing in there for it to eat, so I don't know, other than weeds, so I'm not sure why he was in the greenhouse. But we're going to creep around here. Look at that hot mess. Oh, it just doesn't matter. You know, you work on it as much as you can. Do what you can, and then sometimes it just gets away from you. But other than the overgrownness of this garden and weeds, we have not mowed this part of the we haven't mowed in a week or so. So it's time to mow. But other than that, I am pretty excited and happy to see that the plants are doing well. They're still putting on fruits. And, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's looking great. It's just overgrown. So the plan is to harvest as much as I can today, weed a little bit, and sow more seed. Oh my gosh, look at here. This plant has just gotten so heavy that the trellis that I'm using, or the tomato cage, is like, listen, I am done. I am tapping out. So it's actually tipped over on me here. Oh yeah, it is so heavy. So heavy. But look at these big tomatoes. Look at those. And I would have to admit, this is probably the first year that I've done really well with big tomatoes. Big beefsteak style tomatoes. Gosh, look at there. So I'm very happy and pleased with the results. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to set this up. Okay, so I actually grew these asparagus beans this year, not to harvest, but for seed. And so, mission accomplished, right? Tons and tons and tons of asparagus beans. And I love how they're just hanging on and dangling from this trellis. I love this arch trellis, but what I may do with the arch is actually take it out of the ground and move it back to either one side, either frontward or backward all the way. That way, whatever I plant, or this is what I at least wish I would have done, whatever I plant to go up the trellis, I can actually reach and don't have to reach inside, because what I'm doing is losing space here, right? In the middle, I'm losing some space, and I can only plant and reach on the sides here. So I want to be able to utilize all the space possible, and so it gets kind of hard to reach after a while. But again, mission accomplished with the trellis here. I love the way it looks. I love how the fruits are doing just what they need to do. So I weeded this whole bed out, pulled out everything, and you can see it here probably about 5 or 6 days ago. And just this grass is probably the worst type of grass to ever have in your garden, because it has rhizomes underneath the ground that help it spread. And so yeah, it's a pain. The groundhog is still present, like I said, so I'm not sure what has happened back here, but we're gonna take a quick peep. And looks like everything is okay. The harlequin bugs are taking over the cowpeas here. So I'm going to, I don't see any peas that I want to harvest. Oh yeah, I do. There's some right there. And so I will do my first harvest of those. But again, this area has not been watered by me. And so I'm very excited to be able to see that this, something here can thrive without me intervening. Look at those harlequin bugs. I also see that the wasp nest is growing over there underneath the shed. We still haven't had a chance to remove that. I'm allergic. So is my husband. So that's why we have not fooled with it. But it's a slow build for this type of wasp, but it is definitely something that has to go soon. So we got groundhogs. We got I think they're wasps. They're like black and yellow, building their little home over there. They'll die in the winter time, but I really don't want it to do. Oh my gosh, these harlequin bugs are everywhere. Look at that. Okay. All right. So anywho, that's that. The trellis here looks a little sketchy to me. The weight of the vines are starting to take over here. And so it's still stable. It's attached to, you can see the T-post there on the side. So I have 2 on each side. But these beans are definitely, yeah, definitely weighing it down. So, but it is time to harvest. It is definitely time to harvest the beans again. So, got all kinds of little activities here. The container garden has suffered immensely. This 95+ degree weather, it was just really hard for me to keep up with the watering on these guys. So unfortunately, a lot of stuff is not thriving anymore. But that's okay. We're getting toward the end, the season too, the time of the season where things do start to die back too. But containers, again, I love container gardening. I think there's a place for it in the world, in gardening. However, it's a task to keep up with. So you definitely have to keep up with them. Gosh, I'm getting ate up, y'all, by these mosquitoes. It feels like it doesn't matter what I do, what I put on to prevent bug bites or mosquito bites, they still get me. They just still get me. Anyway, so yeah, it looks rough back here. It looks rough, but that's all right. That's all right. This grass-like stuff right here that's taking over in my containers, I do believe that's from the straw. That there may be some seed in there, and so the seeds have germinated, and basically the plant, whatever the plant is that's in there, suffers because that root is so aggressive that it kind of they fight, and so the peppers tend to be the ones to suffer there. Yeah, but you all, this is a good day. It's an incredible day. I'm alive and healthy, and get out here for the first time in a week. So I'm just trying to take it easy. Trying to, as far as what I allow to bother me, and what I don't, and what I do allow to get on my nerves. It's just been one of those weeks where, like, there's just been a lot of pressure about life, you know, just life things, adulting. Things are not going as planned, and when that happens, sometimes, you know, you feel overwhelmed. Good news, and I don't think I updated you all, but Little Big Girl Farmer and I tested negative for COVID. The baby is doing well. However, her returning to school has been one of those things that have been very challenging for me to decide whether or not I'm going to allow her to return to school. And it's not just because of this one incident, but there have been a total of 4 adults to test positive at her school. The classroom sizes are 20 plus kids, you know, which is pretty typical for most public schools. And, you know, I just, because she's in kindergarten, she's so young. And according to the CDC, you know, children under 12 years old cannot receive a vaccine if they want it, or if the parents want to allow that. I just feel right now, because, and our state is in the red, our county is in the red, and we have been growing cases, you know, since the Delta variant has spread. I mean, it's just, it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. You know, I think about my teacher friends who have young children that can't stay at home because they work, and then their kids can't stay because they work. So they couldn't homeschool their kids if they want to, you know, people that don't have options. You know, there are a lot of hardworking families. They have to have the income. They need it, right? We all need income to survive because everything costs something. And my family is not one of those. We're not, you know, we're in that number is what I'm saying. We need income. And, you know, I wouldn't be able to do everything that I'm doing with a farm, with some policy work and ag work in our community, all the things that I do when I stay at home, if it wasn't for my husband busting his ass, you know. And he's tired. He's tired. He's exhausted. He's mentally, physically, emotionally. His physical health is almost better than ever, but that's because he's been working really hard on his mental health, and his emotional health. But you know, we all are trying to survive right now, and so, gosh, it's just been such a hard decision to make, whether or not, even though these teachers are testing positive, there are kids testing positive, not that I know of at her school, but definitely adults. You know, it's just, gosh, it's like one more thing, you know, do I have to add that to my list? The anxiety and worrying and about my child and her being protected at school. It's one thing just to be at school and I'm not around, right? To protect her if she falls on the playground, or to be there for her if she does that, or has some type of encounter with a child that is not favorable, or whatever, you know, it is, because you are mama bear and papa bear, you know, you want to take care of your kids and protect them from everything, or most things, you know, but we know we can't do that. So, and then, but to have the choice to be able to keep my child at home, because I can be there for her and teach her, and be there and talk her through this thing too, because these children need to be, y'all need to talk to your kids about this virus and how it is affecting them and other people. You know, sometimes our kids know a lot more than we think. Anyway, so, you know, ignoring it and not having a conversation with them about it is not okay, for our family. So she's completely aware. Little Big Girl Farmer knows what's going on, but the thing is not projecting what I think and feel onto her. You know, giving her the information is one thing, but making them feel some type of way because you feel some type of way about a situation is another. And so, but she is aware that people are getting sick from the virus, and she wants to go to school. I want her to go to school. I really, really do. I mean, I wouldn't have allowed her to go in the first place if I didn't want her to have that experience, that opportunity. And that's her right, you know, to be able to receive an education outside of what we teach her. We wanted her to have exposure to other things. But gosh, the circumstances right now of this global virus and is just something else. It's something else. So I made up my mind that I was going to let her go back to school. She's been out of school a total of 14 days. 10 of those days were because she had to be quarantined due to being exposed to someone that tested positive at school to the virus. So technically 4 days I kept her outside of that quarantine at home. Within that 4 days, 3 more adults or 3 more persons at the school tested positive. When she was on, they have like what is called quarantined Google Classroom. So when she was on the classroom, there was one particular day where there were 38 kids in this classroom, and these are all elementary school age kids. And you know, that is something else. Well, 38 kids are affected, and there's probably more than that. They just didn't log in. So then, you know, it's just a lot. And so I just want you to know, parents, I hear you, I feel you, I am here for you, I support you in your decisions. If you have to send your kids, you have to send them. You have to work. There's no other way than send your babies protected and with masks. I'm going to say that. These babies need masks on. I don't care if they're mandated or not. They have no fighting chance against this vaccine or against the virus, okay? Because there's no vaccine available. And then, you know, even with the vaccine, you can still get sick. We all know that, or you should know that. But you have a better chance at fighting the virus if you're vaccinated. I know this video is getting long, y'all, but it's just something on my heart, and I'm sure there are other folks that feel some kind of way. I'm not judging anybody, so if you don't decide to get vaccinated or wear a mask, that is your decision. I feel like you have to make decisions for you and your family, what you think is best, bottom line, period, point blank, okay? However, you know, mine are going to mask up, definitely. So, but, you know, I have to figure this out. The virtual option for the children now is allowed for kindergarten kids, but there's over 3,000 children that have applied for this virtual way of learning, and the district doesn't have the staff to cover that. So I was waiting to see if we were going to get approved soon for her virtual learning, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. So according to the attendance policy, if I allow her to stay out of school for more than 10 days, she can have excused absences if I write notes. But after that, they're unexcused, and then we run into truancy issues. Even during the pandemic, that is still the standard policy. So, you know, it looks like withdrawal for this year is my option. Another option isn't the only option. I send her or don't are the options. So, yeah, homeschooling. Good grief. Stay tuned. I teach my kid, you know, for the past 5 years of her life, she has learned stuff here at the house, right? But homeschooling her and having to file that is a whole new process, coming up with a curriculum, you know, and that kind of thing. I don't know. The one thing that concerns me about homeschooling is the teaching her to read part. I've been teaching her words, and she knows how to sound out letters. We've done all that. I'm just really anxious about the reading part for some reason. She loves math, loves science. She gets, you know, to learn homesteading activities and how to make slime and all those type of things. So those things don't bother me, but the reading piece, teaching her to read has really, we've read to her since she was a baby. So I don't know, maybe I'm anxious for nothing, but that part makes me anxious. I don't know, to be more intentional about teaching her to read. Even though she can read some sight words, we have to get on that, right? And stay on top of that piece. So I don't know, y'all. I'm just kind of yapping and venting, but you know, whatever. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna try to do some gardening today. My goal is to harvest and pot up some aloe plants. I probably have about 20 plants that I could pot up today. And so yeah, till next time, love y'all, peace.